Right, so before I even start, let me just say, I am not the type of person who gets involved in weird, shady shit. I'm a normal guy. I go to work, scroll on TikTok too much, waste money on overpriced Starbucks, and play video games way past a reasonable bedtime. But something happened to me that still keeps me up at night, and I wish I could go back and undo every single stupid decision that led me here. It all started with a Discord invite. Yeah, a freaking Discord invite. It wasn't even from some creepy dark web forum or a sketchy Tor website. I was just chilling in a gaming server when some random dude DM'd me. His username was Drowned Echo, which looking back should have been a red flag. At first, it was normal. He was into FPS games, had a good sense of humor, and seemed chill. We talked for a couple of days, played some CSGO together, and I didn't think anything of it. Then one night, after a long gaming session, he sent me a link. Yo, check this out. It's like a secret marketplace. You won't find this on Google. Now I should have ignored it. Closed Discord and gone to sleep like a normal person. But instead, my curiosity got the best of me. I clicked it. The link took me to a dark website, but it wasn't one of those obvious black market sites selling weapons or fake passports. This was different. It was called The Exchange. The layout was simple, just a black background with red text. And the tagline? Everything has a price. There were no drugs, no weapons, no illegal services. Instead, people were trading information, hacked passwords, private security feeds, access to people's social media accounts, even home addresses. I remember feeling this sick excitement, like I had just found something I wasn't supposed to see. And then Drowned Echo sent me another message. You ever want something? Something you can't just Google? I hesitated. Like what? His next message made my stomach drop. Ever wonder who's been watching you? I swear my whole body went cold. It was such a weird, specific thing to say, like he knew something I didn't. I tried to laugh it off. Bro, what? But he just sent a smiley face. I should have left it alone. But instead, I replied, all right, I'll bite. How does this work? He told me that on the exchange, you didn't need money to buy things. You just had to trade. If you wanted someone's Netflix login, you had to offer something of equal value. If you wanted to see private security footage, you had to give up access to your own camera feeds. It was all based on trust, which was ironic considering this was a den of thieves and hackers. I didn't really want anything from the site. I was just lurking, reading through posts, when I saw something that made my heart skip a beat. It was a listing. Selling live home security feed, randomized locations, no repeats. Someone was offering hacked access to people's home security cameras. Dude, I know I should have closed the page right there, but instead, I clicked. And the most messed up part? One of the camera feeds looked familiar. It was a front porch camera. The street was dark, but the house in the background, it looked just like mine. I clicked on the listing, and there was a tiny chat box. Someone had just left a comment. Nice location. Got any inside feeds? The seller replied, maybe. Depends on the trade. I don't know what came over me, but I slammed my laptop shut so fast I nearly broke it. My chest was tight. My hands were sweaty. I felt watched, like someone had just exposed me to my own life. And then my phone buzzed. A notification from my Ring app. Motion detected at front door. I stared at the screen, my stomach twisting. It was 1:43 a.m. No one should have been outside. Slowly I tapped the notification. The live feed opened up. And I swear to God I almost dropped my phone, because standing at my front door was a man wearing a hoodie. His back was turned, like he was looking for something. I held my breath, frozen. Then, he did something that made my blood run cold. He turned toward the camera, pulled back his hood, and grinned. It was Drowned Echo. I recognized his face immediately. I didn't even think. I just bolted up, ran to my front door and checked the lock, still secure. But my hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold my phone. The Ring app was still open. I watched as he raised his hand and held up a key, my spare key. I don't know how he got it. I don't know how long he had it. But I do know one thing, he wasn't here to visit. He was here to take something. And the worst part, I had no idea what. All right. So there I was, standing in my own house, heart pounding like a war drum, staring at my phone screen. Outside my door, drowned, echo, holding my spare key. My mind was racing. How the hell did he get it? I kept my spare under a fake rock in the backyard. Not exactly Fort Knox, but not something you'd just stumble upon unless you knew where to look. And this dude? He knew. I could see it on his face. The smug grin. The way he tilted his head slightly like he was waiting for me to react. I should have called the cops right then and there. Should have screamed. Should have done something. But instead, I stood there, paralyzed. Then he moved. Not toward the door, toward the side of the house. I switched camera views on my Ring app, trying to follow him. He was headed toward the back, toward my sliding glass door. My stomach flipped because suddenly I realized something. The spare key, that wasn't for the front door, it was for the back. I took off, sprinting down the hall, nearly slipping on the hardwood as I turned the corner. I skidded to a stop in front of the glass door, just in time to see him. On the other side of the glass, smiling. My breath caught in my throat. He lifted the key slowly, deliberately, slid it into the lock. I lunged. My hands hit the door just as he turned the key, and for a split second we just stared at each other, through the glass. Me, breathing hard, panicked. Him, grinning like this was all just some fun game. Then he yanked the key back out. I heard footsteps. He took off running. I fumbled with the lock, threw the door open and ran outside. But by the time I got to the yard, he was gone. The only thing left? The spare key, lying on the ground, like he wanted me to know he could have come in whenever he wanted. I backed up, heart racing, locked every door and window in my house, then grabbed my phone and did what I should have done immediately. I called 911. The dispatcher's voice was calm, way calmer than mine. I was talking so fast I probably sounded insane, but I didn't care. I told them everything, how I met this guy online, how he had my key, how he was watching me. They said they'd send a patrol car, and then right before I hung up, another notification from my Ring app. Motion detected in the house. Dude, I swear I felt my soul leave my body. I wasn't even outside anymore. I was in my kitchen. And yet, the camera said there was movement inside. I tapped the notification, hands shaking. The feed opened. It was my living room, the couch, the TV, the coffee table, and then a shadow. Someone was standing just out of view, not fully visible, not moving, just there. I didn't breathe, didn't blink. Then, a flicker of movement, a hand. Slowly, it reached toward the camera and covered it. The screen went black. Dude, I lost it. I grabbed the biggest kitchen knife I could find, ran to the front door, and bolted outside. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I was going to pass out. I stood in my driveway, gripping the knife like my life depended on it, waiting for the cops. I didn't go back inside, didn't even move, just stood there, staring at my house, knowing someone was still inside. All right. So I'm standing in my driveway, clutching a kitchen knife like it's going to save my life, staring at my house, where I know, without a doubt, someone is still inside. The cops were on their way, but dude, I was losing my mind, because if drowned Echo was still inside, well, what the hell was he doing in there? My phone buzzed in my hand. Another Ring notification. Motion detected, upstairs hallway. I swallowed hard. My bedroom was upstairs. I tapped the feed, expecting the worst. The camera faced the hallway leading to my bedroom. At first, the screen was still, empty. Then footsteps, slow, heavy. A shadow moved just at the edge of the frame. I couldn't see his face, just his legs. He was in my house, walking toward my room. And then he stopped, right in front of my bedroom door. He stood there for a long moment like he was thinking. And then he reached for the doorknob. I felt my whole body go cold. He wasn't here to steal my TV or take my laptop. He was looking for something, and whatever it was in my room. At that exact moment I heard it. Sirens. The sound cut through the night like a blade. I could see the flashing red and blue lights reflecting off the windows. I exhaled so hard I nearly collapsed. Dude, I have never been so relieved to see the cops in my entire life. 2 patrol cars pulled up fast. A cop stepped out, hand already on his holster. You the one who called? Yes. I was breathing so fast I could barely get words out. He's still in there. He's upstairs in my house. The cop nodded to his partner. Stay here. And then they went in. I stood there, heart slamming in my chest, watching the front door like my life depended on it. Then yelling. Heavy boots pounding up the stairs. For a second, nothing. Then crash. Something slammed, a struggle, more yelling. Get on the ground, now! My stomach flipped, then silence. And after what felt like forever, the cops came back out. One of them had someone in cuffs, but the second I saw him, my whole body locked up. Because it wasn't Drowned Echo, it was some other guy, some random dude I had never seen before in my life. He was in his mid-40s, bald, wearing a black hoodie. He looked pissed, not scared, not desperate, just angry. The cop led him past me, shoving him toward the patrol car, and as he passed, he looked me dead in the eyes and smirked, like he knew something I didn't. The cop slammed the car door shut and turned back to me. You're lucky we got here when we did. This guy was inside your bedroom. I nodded, still shaken. Did he say anything? The cop gave me a weird look. Number didn't say a word. Something about that chilled me to my core. This dude had broken into my house, stood in my bedroom, and didn't take a single thing. What the hell was he looking for? And more importantly, where was Drowned Echo? Because the guy they arrested wasn't him. All right, so the cops had just arrested some random dude, not Drowned Echo, some bald guy in a hoodie who had been standing in my bedroom. And that was somehow worse, because now I wasn't just dealing with some weird online hacker. There were actual people breaking into my house, and I had no idea why. After they cuffed the guy and stuffed him into the back of the patrol car, one of the cops, Officer Ramirez, stayed behind to walk me through the damage. We'll sweep the house for anything suspicious, she said. But from what we can tell, nothing's stolen, just some drawers rummaged through. I frowned. That made no sense. I had expensive shit in my room, a laptop, a PS5, even some cash sitting on my nightstand. But he didn't take any of it. He was looking for something, and that terrified me. I followed Ramirez upstairs. My bedroom was a mess. My drawers had been yanked open. My closet was half emptied onto the floor, and my desk chair was pushed away from my computer, like someone had sat there. I swallowed hard. Can you check my PC, see if he messed with anything? Ramirez nodded. You got a password on it? Yeah, a strong one. She tapped the keyboard. The lock screen popped up. My name was still there. Everything looked normal. And then she pointed at the webcam. It was covered with a strip of black electrical tape. My breath caught in my throat. I never put tape on my webcam. That meant someone else did. Ramirez noticed my face. You sure it was uncovered before? I nodded slowly, my stomach twisting. If he covered the webcam, that meant he knew someone else was watching. I turned away, trying not to panic. You said he was looking through my drawers, right? Was there anything in particular he was after? Ramirez walked over to my nightstand. She pointed to the bottom drawer. It was open and completely empty. But the thing was, I had never used that drawer. I bent down, running my hand inside it, feeling for anything weird. At first, it was just smooth wood. Then, my fingers brushed something, a seam. My stomach dropped. I pressed against the bottom panel and click. The bottom of the drawer shifted. My breath caught. It was a false bottom. I lifted the panel, and underneath, a small, black USB drive. Ramirez's face hardened. "Is that yours?" I shook my head. I had never seen it before in my life. But the bald guy, he was looking for it. I stared at the tiny drive in my palm, my fingers tightening around it. What the hell was on here? And more importantly, who put it there? Ramirez took it from me, slipping it into an evidence bag. "We'll analyze it back at the station. If it's anything serious, we'll let you know." I nodded numbly. Yeah, okay. But inside, my brain was spiraling, because if the USB was already hidden in my house, then Drowned Echo had nothing to do with it. Unless he already knew it was there. After the cops left, I did something stupid. I grabbed my spare laptop, the one I never use for anything important, and booted it up. I knew it was a bad idea. I knew I should have let the cops handle it, but I needed to know what was on that drive. I inserted it. A single video file, no title, no metadata, just a timestamp. I hesitated, then with a deep breath, I clicked play. The screen went black. For a second, nothing. Then grainy footage, a security camera feed, a room, small, dimly lit, bare concrete walls, and in the middle of it, a chair. Someone was sitting in it, their hands tied behind their back. At first, I thought it was just some creepy dark web video, but then the person lifted their head, and my entire body locked up, because I recognized them. It was the bald guy, the same dude the cops had just arrested in my house. But in the video, he looked terrified, like he knew what was coming. He started shaking his head, mouthing something. No audio, just silent, desperate pleading. Then, movement. A figure stepped into frame. My stomach twisted. They were wearing a black hoodie. Their face was covered. And in their hand, a knife. I wanted to look away, wanted to close the video, but I couldn't. The figure leaned down next to the man, whispered something in his ear. The bald guy started crying, and then the video glitched. The screen flickered, pixelated. When it came back, the chair was empty. The man was gone. But the figure, the one in the hoodie, they turned, faced the camera, and tilted their head like they knew I was watching. The screen cut to black, and then one final frame popped up. A single line of text. This was never meant to be found. Dude, I slammed the laptop shut so fast I nearly knocked it off the table. My chest was heaving, my skin crawling, because I realized something horrifying. The USB, it wasn't left behind. It was planted, like someone wanted me to find it. And the worst part, I still had no idea why. I sat there, staring at my closed laptop, my breathing uneven, my hands were shaking. The video, the USB drive, the bald guy who broke into my house. None of this made sense. I wanted to believe this was just some sick prank, that Drowned Echo was messing with me, that this was just some elaborate dark web horror stunt. But deep down, I knew it wasn't. I grabbed my phone, hands still clammy. I needed to talk to the cops, tell them about the USB, the video, everything. But before I could even dial, my screen glitched. For a split second, everything flickered, static, distortion, like my phone had short-circuited. And then a notification, a message from unknown number. My stomach dropped. I didn't want to open it. I really didn't. But my stupid curiosity won again. I tapped it. The message was only 2 words. "Stop watching!" I swear I felt actual chills crawl up my spine. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over the keyboard. I wanted to reply, ask who the hell this was, what they wanted. But before I could type anything, another message, this time A photo. I clicked it, already regretting it. And dude, I felt my entire body lock up. It was a picture of me, sitting at my desk. Right now, it was taken from inside my room. I jumped up so fast my chair tipped over. My breath was coming out short, ragged. I spun around, scanning the room. Nothing, no one. But I knew what I saw. Someone had just taken that photo. Someone was here. I ran to my closet, yanked the door open, empty. Checked under my bed, nothing. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold my phone. I turned back to the screen. Another message. This one? A video. I didn't want to watch it. I knew whatever was in that file was going to ruin me, but I tapped it anyway. The screen flickered to life. Another security camera feed, not my house, somewhere else. It was dark, the image grainy. A long, narrow hallway, concrete floors, no windows, a door at the end. And then, movement. A figure walked into frame. Drowned echo. I felt my stomach drop. He was wearing the same black hoodie, his face still carrying that smug grin, but something was off. He looked nervous, like he wasn't in control anymore. He walked to the door at the end of the hallway, knocked twice. Silence. Then the door opened. Another figure stepped out. At first, they were just a shadow, tall, still, unmoving. Then they stepped forward. And I swear to God, it was the same hooded figure from the USB video, the one who had been whispering to the bald guy, the one who had covered the camera. The screen glitched. The figure leaned in close to Drowned Echo, and then Drowned Echo's grin disappeared. For the first time since I met him, he looked terrified. He shook his head, took a step back. The hooded figure grabbed his wrist. The screen flickered again. And suddenly, Drowned Echo was gone. The hallway was empty, like he had never been there in the first place. And then, just like before, one final frame popped up. A single message. There is no escape. The video cut to black. Dude, I slammed my phone down. My heartbeat was out of control. I wanted to believe it was fake, that this was all just some elaborate joke. But I knew better, because Drowned Echo never messaged me again. His Discord account, deleted. His username, gone. Like he had never existed. The police never found out who the bald guy really was. They ran his prints. No matches, no ID, nothing. It was like he wasn't even a real person. The USBI never saw it again. The cops took it in as evidence, but when I followed up later, they said there was nothing on it. No video, no files, just an empty drive. They said I must have imagined it, but I know the truth. I know what I saw. And the worst part? I know they're still watching, because sometimes late at night, when everything's quiet, I hear it. The soft, deliberate knock at my front door. 2 knocks, always 2. And when I check my Ring camera, there's never anyone there, just an empty porch, and a single message left on my phone. Stop watching!